What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Weer, and today we are talking about my Blu-ray update, an update to the collection that keeps on growing. But before we do that, I've got to talk to you guys about my trip that I'm making right now, and that is a trip to Disc Replay. Just went in there with about 40 old DVDs and Blu-rays. DVDs and Blu-rays that I had upgraded to either Blu-ray or 4K, and they gave me $16 in store credit, which is fine because DVDs don't... I wasn't going to make any other money on them. There's nowhere else to sell them. So you just take them to them and it's like, hey, will you take these old DVDs? And they're like, yes, we'll take most of them. They didn't take 5 of them, and we're going to go through those right now. They didn't take the following: Hot Fuzz on DVD, SWAT on DVD, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen on DVD, Dodgeball on DVD, and Boondock Saints All Saints Day on DVD. Now, I don't know why they didn't take these other than, you know, they're old and they're trash now, but they did take the rest. They gave me $16 in store credit. I took that $16, I put it towards my next purchase of 6 more Blu-rays, and then those Blu-rays only cost me $5 out of my own pocket. So I got 6 Blu-rays for $5 today. It's kind of a cool deal. But that's not the only Blu-rays that are going to be updated to my collection. I also have several at home that I've gotten over the last, well, since the last update video. And yeah, let's do the update. What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Weer, and today we are updating my Blu-ray and 4K and 1 DVD collection. Yeah, I bought a DVD. It wasn't my first choice, but they weren't selling it on Blu-ray, and I wanted to watch it. We'll get to it in a little bit. And yeah, I got to update some 4Ks, which is exciting too. But listen, we'll just get into it. I'm excited to talk to you guys about all of these. But first, you know, I have to drink some Pure Leaf tea. Pure Leaf tea. They don't sponsor me, but they should. Yeah, in a Chucky cup. Let's update this collection. Sounds kind of weird. I gotta work on that. First up, guys, we have Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, Brangelina, the beginning. This is where Brad Pitt decided to leave Jennifer Aniston. Probably for many other reasons, but whatever. As a 14-year-old boy, I understood. Look at her. As a 31-year-old man, I understand it. Not now, but back then. I get it. Moving on. Next up, guys, we have Columbiana. Columbiana was a fun movie. I enjoyed it when I first watched it many years ago. Hadn't watched it since, and they had it at Disc Replay, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to pick it up. So, Columbiana. Revenge is beautiful. Next up, guys, we have a movie that I picked up again at Disc Replay, and this one is called The Wrestler. The Wrestler's movie I haven't seen. Might check it out tonight, actually. But I was interested to check it out because a lot of people that watch wrestling enjoy this movie. They say it's pretty good. Shows a lot of gritty behind-the-scenes stuff, and it stars Mickey Rourke. And Mickey Rourke is a guy that looks like he hasn't taken a bath in 50 years. So he's perfect for The Wrestler. But yeah, you know, on the subject of wrestling, I did watch WrestleMania 38 a couple of weeks ago, and it was more of the same. It's the reason I left watching wrestling. I was a diehard wrestling fan for many years, like 7th grade all the way till like, I don't know, 8 years ago. I remember the last WrestleMania that I watched was Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in the main event, and it bored me. And Seth Rollins came out with the Money in the Bank, but it bored me, and I never watched wrestling again. And then most recently, I picked it up and I watched WrestleMania 38, and the main event of night 2, because there has to be 2 nights now, night 2 main event, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. And I was like, this is why I stopped watching. So yeah, until WWE does something different or Cena gets one more comeback tour, probably not watching. But The Wrestler, I'm excited to watch this. I'll use that. Next up, guys, we have Now You See Me. Now You See Me is a movie about magicians who use their magic to do a heist. I actually really enjoyed this movie when it first came out, and the second movie was just such a letdown that I never went back and rewatched the first one. The second one, they were like, okay, but what if magic is real because we're going to bring in Daniel Radcliffe as the bad guy? And they ran with that. That's what they did. I can't stand the second one. But the first one, Now You See Me, was a good time, and I remember a funny story from the theater where I almost got beaten to death by a big guy. I shushed him. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but sometimes you got to shush people in the theater. Like, if someone's speaking at this volume in the theater, you got to shush them. And you risk getting punched in the nose. Seinfeld taught us that, but it happened. Yeah, I shushed the guy, and his girlfriend was like, he's not worth it. And I was like, yeah, she's right. I'm not worth it. Do you? Okay, let's move on. Next up, guys, we have Season of the Witch. Season of the Witch stars Nicolas Cage. I had this on DVD, so I've talked about it before. I will move on, but I love Nicolas Cage. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. Slowly, I'm going to get all of the Nicolas Cage movies that have ever been made, except for Croods. We don't watch that. We're adults. But I'm going to get all of the Nicolas Cage movies of all time. Then I'm going to have a Blu-ray collection of just Nicolas Cage, and we'll go through all of those. It'll be fun. But Season of the Witch has a really cool twist to it. They're after a witch the whole time, or so they think. I love the twist to the end of this movie. Although I did rewatch it last year, and the graphics on the witch at the end, horrible. So, Wish they had spent a little more money on the budget. Whatever. Moving on. Guys, next up we have F9, the Fast Saga of the Furious. The worst in the series for sure. It was on my worst of list, or maybe honorable mention worst of, because there were worse movies than this. But yeah, this is a very bad movie. But it's in the collection, and it is Fast and Furious, and it is Vin Diesel, and I do love all of these characters. There's just a piece of me that's always going to watch Fast and Furious, and as long as they put a Blu-ray out, I'm going to buy the Blu-ray. Had this been excellent, probably would have bought it on 4K, probably day of. But because it was one of the worst movies that came out last year, I've waited till I found it for $3 at disc replay, because that is how you show the studio, I guess. I don't know. Moving on, guys, we have another Vin Diesel movie. One of my favorites, actually maybe my favorite Vin Diesel movie, that just stars Vin Diesel, to be clear, and that is Knockaround Guys. Knockaround Guys has Vin Diesel, Barry Pepper, Seth Green, and, well, John Malkovich is in it. That's cool. Dennis Hopper. Okay, yeah, I have no idea what I'm talking about now. At this point, Knockaround Guys, though, is such a fun movie. I love this movie. So the beer guy's getting paid, the chip guy's getting paid, everybody's getting paid but me, and then he destroys all the machines. It's so cool. Knockaround Guys. It's a cool, updated gangster movie. That's the best way I can put it, like an Italian mafia gangster movie. If you enjoy that, that sounds fun to you, check this out. In the bar scene, where Vin Diesel tells the guy about the one thing he learned after 500 street fights. He said, 500 what, douchebag? And then spit on his shoe. And Vin Diesel said, took off his coat, and he's just got all these muscles because he's Vin Diesel. And he said, 500 street fights. I may or may not cut that out later. Next up, guys, we have Face Off. Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. They take their faces off and put their faces on each other. They don't do it to each other. Nicolas Cage is the bad guy. John Travolta takes his face and puts it to the side and puts on Nicolas Cage's face to go deep undercover in the most deep undercover operation that's ever happened. But then Nicolas Cage wakes up, put John Travolta's face on, and the games begin. I love this movie, Face Off. It's a wonderful movie. Oh man, I wanted to watch The Wrestler tonight, but now I might watch Face Off. Okay, next up, guys, we have a follow-up to one of the best horror movies of all time in Hannibal. However, when I turned this movie on, I've seen it before, but not for many years. And when my wife and I went to see it, because here's the thing, we both really like Silence of the Lambs. When we went to watch Hannibal, it was just kind of boring. There's so much dialogue, but like, it's not interesting. I don't know. I feel like Red Dragon's a lot better, which, spoiler alert, it's in here somewhere. All right, guys, next up we have 13 Ghosts. But look at that cover. That is the coolest cover. I could have gotten the other cover that was a lot cheaper. Hey, Matthew Lillard. You know, admittedly, this isn't the best movie, but I really like it. This is like a guilty pleasure horror movie for me. I really enjoy 13 Ghosts. But look at that. Yeah, look at that cover. I'm a little irritated, though, because the dude on Amazon advertised it with a slipcover, and then I didn't get a slipcover. It is what it is. I one-starred him for it. I'm that guy. Okay, next up, it's just false advertisement. Don't judge me. It's false advertisement. Next up, guys, we have the movie Clue. Clue, the movie. I'd never seen this. Joe Blow Flicks, I think, on YouTube did a deep dive on Clue, and I was like, that's a movie I'd like to see. And so I watched it, and I fell asleep during it. So I will rewatch it, and I will watch it through to the multiple ends. But yeah, I do hope they remake it, because from what I saw, it was really outdated. Like, the humor in it just didn't stick anymore. I don't know. Maybe if I'd watched this as a kid, I'd have liked it a little more, but Clue. There it is, the movie. Next up, guys, I completed my collection. I haven't watched all of them yet. Completed my collection in Final Destination 5. I'm excited to check this out. I really am. I do remember this. I've seen them all before, but I do remember this movie, the ending. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. The ending of this movie connects to all of them in just a brilliant way. I really, really like Final Destination 5. Next up, guys, we have an oldie but a goodie, and that is Harvey, my favorite classic movie of all time. This movie has so much heart. This movie has so much to offer. I love it. I can put this movie in at any time and watch it and just feel good inside about who I am and what I do as a person, because there could be a gigantic bunny rabbit behind me. It could be. Yeah. Next up, guys, is a movie that I recently reviewed, and that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. If you get a chance, go ahead and check out my review. If you like my face, you like, everything going on here. It's just me talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003. So if you want all my thoughts on it, go check out that review. If you don't want my thoughts on it, well, I'll just tell you that it's a fun slasher, and I think that the director did a lot better with Friday the 13th. That's all I'll say. Next up, guys, we have Evil Dead. Evil Dead, this is my favorite Evil Dead. By far, 100%. my favorite. Now, I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying it's better than the originals. I know there's a lot of purists out there like, you can't say it's better than the original. But I love this movie. And Ash shows up at the end, so he's in it. So calm down. Yeah, Evil Dead. I really like this movie a lot. All right, next up, guys, we have a movie that I have to rewatch sometime and re-review because I gave this one of the worst reviews of my life when I watched it. You can check the review out if you want. But I gave it a terrible review. And then after time, I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe I didn't hate it so much. Maybe there's more to it. And so I've got to rewatch it. But I've been looking for this Blu-ray forever. Finally, I just bought it. It was cheap online. So The Lighthouse, starring Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe, two men on a lighthouse. What could go wrong? Okay, The Lighthouse. Next up, guys, we have the prequel I was talking about, and that is Red Dragon, Hannibal Lecter's first outing with the police. I don't remember very much, but I know Edward Norton's in it, so I gotta give this another watch sometime soon. Next up, guys, is another movie I did to complete my collection. I had it on DVD before, but since I upgraded the original The Thing to Blu-ray, I got The Thing 2011 or 2010, whenever this came out, on Blu-ray as well. I've already talked about it multiple times in videos. I just think that, like, this is a good prequel to the original Thing. That's how I feel. Okay, next up, guys, is a movie I'm very excited to have. I've never owned it before. It's an oldie but a goodie. I came here to chew bubblegum and talk about They Live, and I'm all out of bubblegum. I had to do it. You know, I had to do the reference. They Live, though, and look at that cover. It's just cool. I don't know. I like it. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's got a reversible cover with, like, the original cover on it. I don't know. It's just pretty neat. So this one, I did like the updated cover on, which now I've messed up, and so now I've got to fix. There we go. Okay, we all went on that journey together. They Live. I love this movie. It's just an instant classic. Next up, guys, we have another excellent movie, and that is The Exorcist. The Exorcist, the original. This is the one that kicked it all off. Kind of. The Exorcist. There it is. All right, guys, next up we have Nightmare on Elm Street, the collection. Yeah, I got the collector's pack, all 7 original Nightmare films. And one thing I really appreciate, if you know anything about me, is that I don't like discs that are doubled up. None of these discs are doubled up. This is kind of cracked. It came that way. That's what happens when you order things online. Sometimes you get cracked in the mail. But this is the bonus disc, so probably never watch it. But yeah, all the other Nightmare on Elm Streets are here. I'm excited to have this. I've never owned all the originals. In fact, I think I've seen the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't think I've seen anything until Freddy vs. Jason. So maybe at Halloween I'll just review all these, or at least watch them for my own enjoyment and entertainment. But the Nightmare on Elm Street collection is a huge pickup, and I'm excited to have this now. Next up, guys, we have Jim Carrey's Liar Liar. I love Jim Carrey, and recently he said he was leaving acting. He was retiring. He said unless, like, God came down and gave him the script himself, then maybe he would do it. Which is a weird way to say that you don't want to act anymore, but fine. He said, I have enough and I am enough. I think I'm quoting him perfectly there, and that's fine. But Liar Liar, in my opinion, is my favorite Jim Carrey movie. I think it's his best, and then followed up by his role in Kick-Ass 2. Kick-Ass 2 is not a great movie, but he is perfect in it. That's all I'm going to say. Next up, guys, is a movie I was excited to own, and that is Inkheart. Inkheart is a movie starring Brendan Fraser and the dude that plays Vision, and I can't remember, Paul Bettany. There it is, Paul Bettany. Yeah, those two guys. Yeah, and he can read storybooks and things come to life. And he actually read his wife away into a storybook. And then he has to go save her. That's the whole movie. See, I'm confused. But yeah, Inkheart. I got it on Blu-ray. All right, guys, I got 2 more movies to talk about. And before we get into that, you know I got to have a quick sip of Pure Leaf Tea. Pure Leaf Tea. It was more of a gulp than a sip, but I needed it. Okay, we're going to talk about Stay Alive, starring Frankie Muniz. I actually just did a review on this as well. And yeah, I had to buy it on DVD. There's not a Blu-ray copy of this, and I don't know if there ever will be. But until there is, I have the DVD, and I'm excited to have it because I enjoyed this movie. I did watch it recently, did a review. You can check that out. And yeah, Frankie Muniz, a couple people from One Tree Hill. I enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. All right, finally, guys, the last movie we're going to talk about, I got it on 4K. It's the best, and I mean the best slipcover released for this movie. Many slipcovers and steelbooks were released for this movie, but I got Spiderman No Way Home, and I picked up the Walmart edition because there you go. That is the cleanest case that was released. Now, I'm not happy that when you take the slipcover off, that's the one on everywhere else, but I am excited to show you guys that so I can show you, like, look, that's what they released on everything else. That's the steelbook. That's like every other cover. I think Target's got Doctor Strange on the cover, and that's fine, but That's a horrible picture. That's horrible. It's one of the biggest movies of all time, and that's what they released? Really? So, slipcover for me, and look at that. Spider-Man Wanted. I love that cover. I really do. That's, if I get a poster for Spider-Man No Way Home, which I might switch my posters out this year, and if I do get a poster, that's the one I need. I need this picture for the poster for Spider-Man No Way Home. I loved this movie, guys. I've got a review for this on my channel. You can check it out, but I love this movie, and I can't wait to check it out on 4K down here in my movie theater. I cannot wait. Guys, that's my collection. That's my update. Have you gotten any updated collections lately? Have you picked up anything that you're like, man, I'd like to share this with you? Put that in the comment section down below and let me know what you've gotten since the last update video. And remember, if this is the first time you're coming to my channel, well, make sure you hit the subscribe button because there's a lot of content out there, a lot of updates, a lot of Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, all kinds of stuff out there. And then I do reviews too, so you should check out those. Guys, thanks for watching this video all the way to the end. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.